The next step in order to set up our sign chuck here is to calculate out or to add up the gauge blocks. We figured out we needed 2.5 inches worth of gauge blocks. Now, that's a pretty easy number to come up with. We come over here to our gauge block selection, and Mr. Dugan here is going to show us where the 2-inch and the 1/2 inch blocks are. He's going to get those and he's going to ring them together. Ringing process is where we take the gauge blocks and we clean off the ends. They have such a nice smooth ground finish that when we rub them together, they're actually going to stick, so that you can see they won't fall off. You can hold them upside down, it doesn't fall off. That's ringing them together. Now, that was a fairly easy one. We picked the 2-inch and we picked the 1/2 inch. What if we had a number, though, that was a little bit different, like 1.631? Well, in order to figure something like that out, we would have to come over to our gauge blocks and we would have to find gauge blocks that add up to that number. Well, we know we have 31 thousandths here at the end. So if we look through our block, or our box, we see that we have 131 right here. We have 131 thousandths. So if I subtracted minus 131 off of what I have here, I end up with 1.500. So then I look for blocks that are 500, 1 inch. I would use a 500 block. That takes me down to a 1 inch left. And I would use a 1 inch block. So the 3 blocks it would take to make this up would be a 1 inch block, a 1/2 inch block, and a block that was 0.131 thousandths. I would stack all 3 of those up to get my final size. So that's what we're going to use right here, is our 2.5 inches that are stacked up to set up our sign chuck. Now, the next step in the process would be to set up our sign chuck to get ready for grinding.